Dear modelers, welcome to the hobby. Before continuing with priming this BF109G6 from Eduard in 1:48 scale, I had to fill some minimal gaps with Mr. Dissolved putty. It is very easy to apply with a toothpick and is very nice to sand when it dried. I have to apologize for my longer absence, but real work caught me up. And I'm not happy with the finished paint job on this model, so it took a lot of mojo to continue it. But what's much more important in this episode, the winners of the giveaway will be announced. So stay with me, because now we're going to make the model ready for priming and then continue with painting this black crow. Check out what I found on the internet, a nice set of sanding sponges in different sizes. It is from the same brand where my sprue cutter comes from. I absolutely have no idea how to pronounce it and what it should mean, this brand. Is it called this PI? Anyway, this is another nice and high quality product from their company and comes well packaged into 2 sets with different grades. I pour some drops of water on the sanding sponge and I try to keep the sanding limited only on the needed spot. The water binds the sanding dust and you can wipe the excess easily away with a towel, so nothing should enter the already finished parts like the cockpit. After gluing the fuselage halves together, I had to rescribe the panel line. I used Tamiya tape as a guide for the Tamiya scribing tool, which is really easy to use. Tamiya tape, it's always a good old trip back to the 80s. I drive the scribing tool some light passes to the front, then I pass it very softly backwards until there's a panel line. To attach the front part of the canopy, I used the acrylic ultra glue from Amomic. It has a similarity to standard white glue. After applying it with a toothpick, you can wipe off the excess with a brush moistened with water. It is really easy to use, I like it. As mentioned in the last video, the fit of this Eduard kit is just great. With some cautious gluing, there is almost no need for filler. There where I need to sand, I made some mistakes and didn't align the fuselage halves properly. To mask the wheelbase, I use Magic Putty. There are several brands offering this product and it is really easy to use. I take some chunks and put it in the base, then wait several minutes until it has conformed to the shape. If necessary, I add some more material until the wheelbase are masked and covered. And for masking the cockpit, I use the spare canopy and I attach it with some Patafix. As a last step before priming, I clean the surface of the model kit with rubbing alcohol. Then I use my favorite product for priming, Mr. Surfacer 1500 and Tamiya lacquer thinner, my winning team. It is very thinned down, so I need several passes for good and even coverage with my Harder & Steenbeck airbrush and the 0.3 needle in it. I really like this brand, but I got a new airbrush family member in 0.18. The Mr. Airbrush Custom. I heard only good things about it, so I wanted it to try for a long time. Nice and a shiny airbrush. Okay, now on to the first paint steps after priming, with these colors and again Tamiya lacquer thinner. For this project and the first step I use an airbrush stencil from Liang. I spray with the new airbrush a first random layer of medium blue. To make the use of the stencil easier, I cut the corners in a rounded shape. But the stencils are a little bit sturdy because of the cardboard-like material. Next up was black basing with pure white. I had some problem to dial the airbrush in to get nice fine lines. I tried to thin the paint almost to a filter and played around with the air pressure. But anyway, it worked for squiggly and random lines. I almost covered the whole work done with the stencil and blue color from before. Applying the black basing technique is a really easy and relaxing technique. I like to do it very much, and it is the first layer of weathering. Now before continuing, let's start the nice stuff, the giveaway. Everyone who subscribed and left a comment about the model kit he absolutely likes best participated in the giveaway of a Hasegawa P47 in 1:48 scale, a Model Collect E100 in 1:72 scale, and the juicy color modulation set from Dunkelgelb from mr.color. And worldwide shipping is on me. First of all, thank you very much for participating and supporting the channel. I already can announce that the next giveaway will be when the channel hits 2000 subscribers, and the giveaways will gradually improve. So keep spreading the word about air and ground in scale and share the links with your scale modeling friends. Your support is much appreciated. Enough talking, let's pick the winners. As I'm Swiss and very neutral, I recorded the happening. And the first winner is Maxi V with her Maschinenkrieger. What a nice choice. As I often see Mac models in German colors, I send you the color modulation set. The next winner is P. Dolny, and his favorite model is a Sherman from Reifield Models. Very solid choice, so I think I'll send you some exotic German E100. And the third winner of the giveaway is Stefan der Lindes. You built 3 Tamiya P51D, so now it is time you build some Hasegawa P47. Congratulations to the winners. Please contact me on airandgroundinScale@gmail.com. Let's continue with the build. After giving some layers of structure, I take a very fine sandpaper of 7000 grit and wet polish the surface just a little bit to smoothen out some paint buildup. Now for the base coat I use Natto Black and mr.color leveling thinner. Then I add some drops of transpirator from Amomig, which turns the color into a glaze, so it gives me more control over the coverage and the needed layers. Now all started really well. I start to cover the model on the panel lines to get them darker and more pronounced with the base color. Then I'm working more towards the center of the panels, where I want lesser coverage. This is a really nice part of painting, covering the underlying structures and see how it slowly builds up. At a certain point the camera couldn't record the black base coat correctly. The nuances of the black basing isn't very visible on screen. I tried to capture it with my iPhone camera, but the layers are just faintly visible. I found it very difficult with the color black to get the point where the underlying black basing has a good coverage, but the base coat is still vivid and interesting. Perhaps the result will be better visible with the upcoming weathering, but first we have to do the markings, which will be applied by a self-made mask, and then decals. So tune in to the next episode and don't forget to subscribe. I'm Leon from Air and Ground in Scale, and I hope you enjoy your weekend at your modeling bench.